What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Fishing with Tate. Today we're doing a little bit different episode. You guys know I usually don't do a lot of these sit down and talking videos, but this is another one of those. We're going to talk about something very important though. Probably a video that I should have done early on in the summer, talking about the different baits that I like to use. Not all of them, but specifically 5 of the most important baits to summer bass fishing. That's what I would probably call them. But before we get into the video, these are our subscriber catches of the week. Appreciate these guys for sending in their pictures. And guys, if you want to see your picture on the channel, then be sure to email me a picture at baitwithtate@gmail.com or DM me on Instagram at Fishing with Tate. And guys, that's all you have to do, and eventually I will get you up here. There is a little bit of a wait, but pictures have kind of slowed down a little bit, so it'll be a good time to go ahead and submit a picture. Also, before we get into the video, we've done a lot of fishing this week. Didn't really come up with anything to really make a video out of, but John did kind of break a milestone, so I'm going to go ahead and show that clip. He told me I better put it in a video, so I'm going to go ahead and put it in here, and after that we'll kind of talk about what this video is about. All right, boys, well,
you put him back.
There's 2.
Because he's about to die.
Nah, he ain't been out that long. Got a big double up right there.
That's a good solid keeper spot though.
Yeah, that's a good one. John's is gone.
Are you stupid?
So yeah, guys, John got on a smallmouth, pound, 8 ounces. Not a big smallmouth, not even a keeper smallmouth for that lake. Takes 18 inches in that lake actually. But, you know, it is his first, and, you know, pretty cool. He wanted me to share that, and I kind of want to include it in the video because it is kind of a milestone personal best for him. So that's kind of cool, just to include that. But, guys, what this video is about, and hopefully the lighting and everything is good. I know my background probably isn't the greatest background, but, you know, it is what it is. This is me sitting at my desk just kind of talking fishing with you guys. So what we're talking about in this video is my top 5 summer bait. So technically this is late summer, but I live in Kentucky. In the last couple years, I would say the summer temperatures have lasted up at least to October. So don't just go by your calendar season, go by the temperature and more specifically the water temperature. Well, let's go ahead and get to the baits. So my first bait for summer, especially for ponds, but even for lakes, if you want to skip under overhangs or get up under a dock or throw in some lily pads where those bass are trying to get in some shade and feel secure up under some kind of cover, it's hard to go wrong with a frog. So I feel like I have to mention a frog here. Let me get a good example out. So a frog, you can't go wrong with it. Sometimes I fish this in the middle of the day, like on some lily pads and some grass mats, or even under docks or overhanging banks. But for the most part, early morning, late evening, these right here are probably going to shine the most. You're going to want to fish that on some heavy braid. I usually go about 50 pounds. Some people like 65. I feel like that might be a little bit overkill. But 50-pound braid is a real good line size for throwing frogs. You're going to really need those hard hook sets. You're going to need a rod that has a little bit of tip so you can work and walk that frog really easy, but also a lot of backbone so you can set that hook really hard. And if you are throwing up some thick slop and under some, you know, in some thick cover, have enough backbone to get those fish out pretty quick. But for me, I use a 7.3 or a 7.4. It's a Cabela's rod. I don't even know if they make it anymore. It's an XML Bass. And just a really good rod. I like that longer rod for, you know, really getting good hook sets at a long distance. It just kind of gives you a better angle to get that hook in the roof of the mouth of a bass. So yeah, guys, do not forget about a frog when you're doing some summer bass fishing. Guys, up next is a must. You must have this bait if you want to catch some big bass in the summer. And probably a lot of you already know what I'm talking about. And it is a 10-inch worm. A lot of people even like to throw the 12-inch, but I usually stick with that 10-inch ribbon tail worm. I typically use like a 4/0 worm hook with like a 1/2 ounce bullet weight on the top, probably usually tungsten. And man, if you're targeting fish a little bit deeper, like on points or humps or whatever, this right here is the way to go. But I even flip this around cover and stuff too. But yeah, guys, a 10-inch worm just catches fish, and I'm telling you, it will catch you some big bass. I like to throw that on anywhere from a 7.3 to 7.6 rod, really long rod, just to get that bait out there, maximize your distance. I'll also sometimes use a 3/8 ounce weight on that, just depending on how deep I'm wanting to fish. And usually throw anywhere from 17 to 20 pound fluorocarbon line on that. And up next, guys, is a Texas rig, just a plain Texas rig. I know that we just talked about a Texas rig worm, but specifically what I want to talk about is a Texas rig that you flip into heavy cover. So in the summertime, when that sun's really beating down, those bass like to get up tight to cover, and sometimes you have to get really in the thick stuff to find them. So a lot of times what I like to use is some kind of soft plastic that don't have a ton of appendages, and something that's going to just get in there and get right back out and not going to catch up on anything. And one in particular that I like to use is a Senko. This thing don't have any appendages. You can put a weight on it, Texas rigged, and that thing's just gonna go straight down, and it's not gonna have anything to get hung on when you get it back out. Just straight in, straight back out, get it back in, make another cast. As far as the line, the rod, and the reel that I use on these, it kind of depends on how heavy of cover I'm fishing. If it's really heavy, I'll use just straight braid. If not, I'll use some like 17-pound fluoro probably. And guys, I just realized I haven't talked about my reel on any of these, but up to this point, I will use really fast reels on all the baits I've already shown you, anywhere from like a 7-to-1 gear ratio or an 8-to-1 gear ratio. So yeah, Texas rig is a great way to just get in that heavy cover, get right back out, and it's a little bit more finesse, I would say, than like a jig. So up next, guys, early mornings, late evenings, that's when I'm going to be throwing my moving baits the most. And one of my favorites, my favorite, is the chatterbait. But yeah, those are the times of day that those bass are going to be chasing the most. So that's probably the best time to throw your moving baits, like a chatterbait. I'll be throwing that on a medium or medium heavy with a fast action, and also with 15-pound braid or fluorocarbon. I really like to throw this around grass also. This bait comes through grass really well. And guys, last but not least, you're going to have to go to finesse probably at some point if you want to catch fish. And my favorite finesse bait is a shaky head. A lot of people would probably also say a Ned rig, but I have found this to be a little bit more forgiving and not get hung up quite as much as a Ned rig, especially on the heavier cover that I fish sometimes. But this thing right here is crucial to having the boat. I probably caught more fish on this right here than I have anything all year. I typically use like 8-pound fluoro. I've just recently switched to braid with a fluoro leader. But yeah, when the bite gets tough, guys, go finesse, and a shaky head is a great way to get that done. And I'm almost always using this on a spinning setup, a medium action rod with a fast tip. So yeah, guys, that is pretty much my 5 baits that I would suggest having tied on pretty much all summer. If you watch any of my videos, these are the baits that you're probably going to see me catching them on during these hot summer months. But guys, that is pretty much that for this video. I post every Sunday, every Thursday. If you're not already subscribed and want to see consistent fishing content, go ahead and hit that little red subscribe button, turn it gray, and of course turn on your little bell notification so you get notified every time I post a video. And also go check me out on Instagram. I'm trying to grow my Instagram. It's @FishingWithTate. And also my TikTok is also @FishingWithTate. I have like 28K over there and post daily over there. So go check me out. Guys, that's pretty much it. Keep those lines tight, and I'll see you next time on another episode of Fishing with Tate.